Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about your digestion and some of my very amazing case studies that we've had. Just a few, just to share with you the powers of Chinese medicine. My name is Dr. Anna Dolopo. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. I'm board certified. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, and I want to quickly review a few of my cases. A lot of people don't know that from 1999 to 2006, all I focused on were digestive and menstrual issues. So today we're just going to quickly tell you how amazing Chinese medicine is. So I'm just going to read directly from these testimonials. So Katie, this was back in 2021. Anna is an amazing healer. I started seeing Anna back in 2013 due to stomach problems and pre-wedding stress. She helped me physically and mentally. Not only will she take the time to discuss your needs, but she will tailor your acupuncture session to what works best for you. She doesn't rush you and she makes you feel comfortable and at home. I'm so happy I'm back again in SoCal after 5 years of being away so I can continue to receive treatments for overall health and chi balancing. Thank you, Anna, for all you do. So what I want to share from that particular testimonial is a few things. The first one is that every treatment has to be tailored, whether you see me or any other acupuncturist on the planet, your treatment needs to be tailored to you. If it's just like, well, we're just going to give you, if you think this is just some random treatments and everyone gets the same treatments, that's absolutely not true. She talked about how your physical and your mental well-being. That's important to understand because in Chinese medicine, your digestion has to do with thinking. If your digestion is a little sluggish, this person has a tendency to overthink, worry, ruminate. So that's what I want to share from that. So the more clear your digestion, the more clear your mind is, the better your digestion works. The better your digestion works, the more clear you are in life. You're not, what if this happens? What if that happens? The two go hand in hand. All right, so there is that case study. The second one is from James. He wrote this back in 2010 on December 31 on New Year's. So on New Year's Eve, James in Emeryville, California wrote this. I have been coming here on and off for a year, and I can't believe I haven't reviewed this place. My bad. Anna is a great healer, but more importantly, a great person. She makes you feel comfortable and wanting to heal you. I have come to her with anxiety, dizziness, stress, stomach issues, etc., off and on for a year. She has always put my yin-yang, chi in balance in a very short period of time. She has given my life back when things go a little nuts. I love going into treatment with her as I lay here with needles in me and just meditating away. It is my time to relax my mind and body. It is my time to relax my mind and body, and it feels so freaking good. I really get an outer body experience, and I know I am in heaven with her treatment. When it is over, I always want more. Anna is great as she listens and wants to know your progress. If you're still feeling blah, she will ask you to come back. If you're still feeling blah is what he wants to say. If you're fine, she will see you when you want to see her. She does not pressure you to see her all the time unless you want to. That is what makes her a truly great healer. I will always be back to Anna as acupuncture is now part of my life. James and I would have these amazing conversations about qi because he, I believe, was Chinese. And we would just have these great conversations about the importance of feeling calm and relaxed. And I especially love talking to people who do have a Chinese background, who was raised in, especially an Asian household, but especially if their background is really understanding the essence of Chinese medicine. One thing that's a common denominator between the first and the second testimonial is that they talked about the comfort that we provide here at Elements in Harmony. That's so important. I always guarantee 45 minutes with the needles. Many clinics, they will keep you for 20 to 30 minutes, and I've worked at those clinics. That has more to do with the real estate. Maybe there are people who subscribe to the treatment has to be 30 minutes, and I did that. And I will tell you the style that I do, taught to me by the late Grandmaster Dr. Richard Tifutan, he always did long treatments. So I have followed in the steps of my late Grandmaster. So if 20 to 30 minute treatments work for you, stay at your clinic. But if once my patients start with me and they do a minimum of 45 minutes, and many patients will stay 1 to 3 hours, they feel a distinct difference. Both of those cases were patients who did stay a while. Look, it can take you 22 minutes, and some of my patients drive up to 2 hours to come see me, and they know it's going to be worth the time. A common denominator is how we make them feel comfortable. You get a tailored treatment, and you want to make sure that the person heals. If you want to heal, it takes time to heal. This rush behavior we have, especially in the United States, especially if you're in a metropolitan area, and we're here in beautiful Orange County. I initially started in San Diego, which is where I'm from. You know, driving is a huge factor in many of our lives. And what this does, it really helps calm down your nervous system, which is directly associated with your digestion, which we can talk about more in private. I loved James' great testimonial because he really goes into the details of balancing. We use that word so frequently without really understanding what that means. Balance is this, I think it's elusive word. It's an elusive word for many people. But if you really think, what does balance mean? Look at your dog. Look at your cat. Look at, symmetry. Look at this feeling that nature gives you. That's why we feel so good in nature. Driving 70, 80 plus miles an hour, and that's a consistent thing that many of us do, that's not putting you in a state of homeostasis. There's a reason why we have the trifecta: the high blood pressure medication, the cholesterol medication, the diabetes medication. Look at your body, and are you really okay with your body? I'm going to step on some toes. Are you really okay with how you feel, how you look? I'm in that boat, always having to make sure. It takes work to be healthy. It's not natural to be on a lot of medications. And if that's the way you want to live on those medications. But what is a person who's natural doing? Able to have very strong heart, a very strong digestion, being able to live with a very healthy body, a very healthy mind. You are not deficient in a medication. If you need the medication to live, stay on the medication. But there are many people who come see me after being on a medication for 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 years, and they're done. They're done with the side effects. And so when they start feeling natural and they start seeing their blood pressure go to 120/80, their cholesterol is significantly improved, their blood glucose, their lab tests are all perfect or close to it, their testosterone levels naturally. There's this thing called endogenous testosterone and exogenous. Exogenous is when you have to take a medication or some kind of supplement or whatever drug to keep your testosterone at a, not just bare minimum, but at a higher level. But imagine you having natural testosterone levels at a high level where you're virile, you have strong libido, and you have the energy and the strength to do things that are natural. Being able to lift things, being able to be strong, not having pain, not just feeling not sluggish, but very powerful, very strong. That's an endogenous. You don't need an external thing to help you. And that's one thing that acupuncture does. It allows you to heal. If you go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com and look up stage 4 kidney disease, it's under case studies. And you'll see that in 1 month and 7 days, I believe 1 month and 7 days, I think it was 19 treatments, I helped this woman go from stage 4 to stage 2 kidney disease. They called it stage 2, but her kidney EGFR, her kidney function was at a 90, and that's a normal range. The doctors were shocked when people say, how do you do that? How did you help the person who had a brain hemorrhage? And I've done this multiple times with people who have brain hemorrhages. How are you able to no longer have it in an MRI or whatever it is that you're using to measure blood, the brain hemorrhage? How are you able, they ask me, they say, Anna, Dr. Dolopo, how are you able to stop the brain from hemorrhaging? This person initially needed, we needed to have them have a surgery on their brain, but now that's not necessary. Or how is it that this person who with excruciating pain, who was required to get a herniated disc surgery, now the person's pain went from a 10 to a 1? You know, like how did that person's bulging disc heal? How did this person's digestion improve where they had SIBO, but now they don't? They're able to digest. They have really good bowel movements. How is this person who had a 5% chance to get pregnant, but now they got pregnant naturally when their AMH was a 0.14 and it should be between a 1 to a 4? How was there, and the doctor told them, you're not going to be able to conceive. You're in your 40s and, you can't get pregnant. You need to get donor eggs. How was this woman able to conceive naturally? How was this man's sperm motility able to go from 2% to 42% with 20 treatments in 2 months? And then in a total of 10 months, go from 2% to 42% the first 2 months, and then 8 months more, go to 72%. How was that able to happen? How are you able to get the blood pressure from 190 over 110 to 130 over 85? In a few treatments. Your body knows how to heal. That is the message. Your body knows how to heal. So I can go on. And if you, elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com is my third website. moveyourchi.com is no longer available. It took me years to try to transfer a lot of information, but some of the testimonials still are on Yelp. Some of the, not all of them. It was just, I didn't want to pay for two websites at the same time. It took me a while, and I was like, you know what? People get the point on elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com. Your body knows how to heal. Once you can digest and really ingest that, you really will believe what your body can do. You can heal. So let's go on to the next testimonial. You're still with me, so I appreciate it. On April 14, 2019, my dear friend, Professor Kristen, wrote this testimonial. She's a black belt, and she earned 2 gold medals, I believe, from Pan Am. And she wrote several things, and one of them was on stomach pain. Her first testimonial was in 2019. I have been seeing Anna for several years now. I have tried a couple of different acupuncturists in the past, but none even come close to her. She completely eliminated my stomach pain, which I had been living with for years. No medication or other treatments even came close to giving me the relief that she has. I am also competitive in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Needless to say, I'm often dealing with injuries, and it has kept me competing and doing what I love. I could not do it without her. On top of that, she is one of the most caring and compassionate people I have ever met. I can't recommend her enough. And her second testimonial was a month later, May 11. She said, updated review. I hurt my knee 2 weeks before a jiu-jitsu competition. I could barely walk for several days. Anna fixed me, and the result was these 2 gold medals. This was open. This was she did very well, very, very well at a very intense competition for black belts in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So yes, acupuncture, when done right, will heal your digestion. That was acupuncture. That was acupuncture. When you do acupuncture correctly, you can heal. And that is the driving motivation for me since I started studying in 1994. And it's not just go to any acupuncturist. I hate to say it, you really need to go to someone with experience and talent. It took me a long time to learn what I've learned. I have contractors here who are amazing at what they do, and I do my best to share with them. It is up to every acupuncturist, every Chinese medical doctor to really empower themselves and be better. If they're still doing the same thing as an acupuncturist as they were on the day they graduated, they have not improved. So it's really important to understand that even though this is an ancient medicinal art, this is something that there is an art and there's a science to it, and we need to keep up with the times, and we also need to improve our talents. We need to work on our craft. We need to improve what's working, what's not working. So so you can give me someone who hasn't had a great bowel movement for at least 5 years. If I were to still give that person the treatments since June 22, 1999, as I was when I graduated and got licensed, the day I got licensed, I would be doing our community in Southern California a huge disservice. An acupuncturist, to be effective, needs to improve, needs to study their work. needs to understand, okay, this is what's working, this is what's not working, this is how to help this particular condition and this particular condition. There's no one size fits all, something to consider. Let me see if I opened up any other digestion. This was from Stephanie, 2009. I started seeing Anna in the beginning of the summer for an enlarged lymph node. What I didn't know was that she was going to help me with so many other things in my body. I had minor, I had had I had minor digestion problems my entire life. After I ate, I would always have some discomfort, which I just considered a normal part of digestion. Now, after I feel good with no pain. I now realize that this is normal. Acupuncture has helped me identify when I feel full, which allows me to stop eating before I overeat. As a result, I have started to lose weight without even trying. She has also helped me tremendously with overstressing and worrying. I feel so much more in control of my thoughts and emotions and have much more happiness and a sense of peace in my life. I still see Anna regularly for my lymph node, and I continue to enjoy the benefits of her acupuncture for any new ailments that come up along the way. For instance, she has helped me recover from a cold much quicker than I would have in the past. She has also helped me to get over a knee injury I recently experienced doing yoga. I recommend acupuncture to friends and strangers all the time. It has improved the quality of my life tremendously. Here, folks, here's one thing that I want to share is when this is why I focus on digestive and menstrual issues my first 7 years from 1999 to 2006, because I found, because they were my health issues, that when a person can heal, we'll talk about menstrual stuff I've talked about it in other videos at great length, but we'll just talk about digestion. And digestive issues can coincide with muscular issues, because in Chinese medicine, the energy, not the spleen, but the energy of the spleen pancreas has to do with the digestion. It also has to do with the muscles. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. And you also heard in this last testimonial that Stephanie said, I used to worry a lot and overthink. That is the energy of the spleen. This is where the rubber meets the road between Western and Eastern medicine. The energy, we're talking energy, that's a whole different conversation than what you would have with your doctor, say, in Western medicine. Western medical doctors will not see that the energy of the heart has to do with joy and sadness. The energy of the liver has to do with anger, stress, resentment, pent-up emotions. The energy of the spleen, pancreas has to do with overthinking. The energy of the kidneys has to do with anxiety and fear. The energy of the lungs has to do with grief, and so on and so forth. Every organ in Chinese medicine has an emotional component. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's not just don't stress out. It's not just don't eat gluten. Don't eat carbs. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Don't eat this. That's the world we live in Western medicine, in the Western culture. But in Chinese medicine, there's a book that I refer to a lot of my patients, and I fill this out for my patients. This is a Chinese medical textbook, and it goes into the essence of Chinese medicine. This is not just a food book. There's this part right here. It talks about the circadian rhythm and how each time of the day has to do with the organ system. We'll just leave it at that. There's the essence of every organ system is in here, the major organ systems. Where is it that I want to show? This is, yin, yang, and beyond. What does that have to do with food? What do the 5 elements have to do with food? What does Chinese medicine have to do with food? It's a whole science in and of itself. And you notice I haven't talked about herbs. Herbs is something that I don't even discuss until maybe like 5 to 20 treatments, because in those first 10 to 20 treatments, if someone's feeling 30, 50, 80+% improvement, I'm not going to put them on herbs. That's me. Other Chinese medical doctors, other acupuncturists, from the get-go, you're on herbs. The reason why I don't is because I want to tailor the treatment to you. And it's not just from, oh, okay, your first treatment, this is the treatment for the rest of your life. No, I want to see how this treatment is going to affect you, how it's going to impact you, how it's going to empower you. If you get worse, I know how to adjust. If you're not getting improvement, I know how to adjust. Now, if you have 2 variables, acupuncture and Chinese herbal formulas, and you get worse, I won't know which to affect. In those first 5 to 15 treatments, and I talk about this at length in my momentum video, in my what to expect video, in my 6 accountability videos, I really go into detail on how important it is to understand how the treatment's going. If you get better, I'm happy. If you get worse, I'm happy because I know how to adjust. It's when nothing changes that I get concerned. So we'll talk about that more in length when you come in for your Chinese medical consultation and treatments. Um, that's pretty much all what I want to share. I just recently helped someone, and believe it or not, I don't ask for a testimonial for every video, for every treatment that's improved. But I will say this, when a person starts feeling 30% better, and I share this in other videos, but I'll reiterate it here. When a person's 30% better, I think they think they're okay, but they don't really know. But when you're 50% better, oh, I had the best bowel movement of my life. You know, oh, wow, I'm not constipated anymore. Oh, wow, someone told me this yesterday. She's in her mid 50s, and she was like, I was freaking out because my clothes were getting tighter, and I did some treatment. She's like, oh, I feel so much better. That was what she was feeling in her menopause. That's one of her menopause symptoms. I'll be doing another video soon on women's health, specifically about perimenopause. I will share this. I'm 51, and I'm in a different phase now in my life, and I have not had any menopause symptoms whatsoever. No hot flashes, no night sweats. Okay, no vaginal dryness. I know that's TMI, but that I did a whole video on the cure for a dry vagina. I've done videos on how to prevent blue balls. That was for men's health. There are many things that about health regarding our sexual health that's so important. In your sexual health coincides with your mental health. Your sexual health coincides with so many other parts of your health. Your heart, your digestion, your elimination. We'll leave it at that. So I hope these help. Check us out, elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com. You can schedule directly there. If you're scheduling with me, just make sure you have a confirmation email. If you schedule with any of our doctors, please make sure, or our amazing neuromuscular sports massage therapist, please make sure you text me, 619-341-4341. The office landline is a 949 number. It's a landline, 305-1703. So if you text, please text the 619-341-4341. Please subscribe. Please share this with your friends. I'm not usually in the habit of asking, but you know what? I'm finally at 695 subscribers. Now I'm going to finally say, you know what? Why don't you share this? Why don't you subscribe? I want to really tell everyone, keep telling everyone the powers of Chinese medicine. You can move your chi. You can heal. You can heal. Okay? That's important. That's your mantra today. I can heal. I can heal. All right. Have a great, great day, and share my channel with all your friends so that they can have amazing digestion. Take care.